faith. This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me I'm with Memphis.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and all things Hollywood. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host, Devin, the man himself. And in this episode, we're going to be reviewing the penultimate episode of Marvel's What If, episode 8, that is titled, What If Ultron Won? And before we begin today's review, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys out there. You know, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter over at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. We would love to just talk movies and TV and, you know, all that good nerdy stuff with you guys. But as I mentioned before, my co-host Devin is here with me yet again. How are you doing today, man? Happy What If Wednesday. We're here.
What if James Spader never existed? What if we never had Robert California?
This is really messy with Devin's psyche right now. He can't, he cannot accept the facts.
I like the voice actor they use too, Ross Marquand.
Mm-hmm.
He does good work too, but
not for this.
This one took me out of it a little bit.
No. Oh man. Well, Devin, I believe this is our last review of September before we get into the official spooky season. That is October 30. That is October 31st. Excuse me. That is October. Man, oh man, I do apologize for that. But yeah, we're almost here. You know, we've been it's fun stuff. You know, we're finally getting into like the good stuff. Like that's going to be coming up here in the podcast a little bit later. We'll be letting you guys know our schedule because it is a doozy. Crazy. But Devin, are you ready to get into our What If episode 8 review?
Oh yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with our What If episode 8 review right after this short break.
Space. Time. Reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
All right, Devin, and we are back with our What If episode 8 review. Again, that is titled What If Ultron Won? And I have to say right off the bat, I had this thought going in. This was one of the big what if questions that I've been wondering. There was actually two with Ultron. The first one for me was, what if, you know, Ultron, I don't know how you would spin it, but what if Shuri, quote unquote, saved Ultron during Avengers Infinity War? But the other one for me was, I've always wondered, you know, what would Ultron be like if his plan actually succeeded? And of course, you know, we kind of do a nice little spins of titles around here. I titled this one Flawless Victory, you know, Ultron wins. So it's like he finally got his way and we finally see it in this episode. I wanted to get your quick thoughts, pass it over to Devin here for his initial reactions before we get into our spoiler section. So Devin, take it away.
Yeah, I've made it known my issues with the voice acting for one. First of all, what are we calling him now? Because it's not Ultron, it's not Vision. I've seen a few different options. I like Infinity Ultron.
Infinity Ultron. Cool. Yeah, I like that too.
This Ultra Vision.
We call him Voltron.
Yeah, I mean that's already taken, but
no, that's taken. Yeah. Yeah, it's I've seen a few out there as well, Devin, but sorry, go ahead, continue.
But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any complaints because it was a really good episode. Just about what would happen if Ultron did win and built himself a nice Vision body to use and work with. He's a scary guy when he's not talking.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. It going into this episode, I didn't really know what to expect. I actually didn't even watch like the preview that you had sent because I just wanted to go into this one blind for it being the penultimate episode of What If. And I gotta agree with you, man. He's a scary dude. Like this is.
I also have I made a big revelation about the Watcher while watching this in his final form.
Okay, is it more of a spoiler?
He finally broke out of his shell.
You know what? I think that one deserves a hold on. My gosh. Yeah, there we go. Broke out of his shell.
But I have a thought as to who he looks like that I can't get out of my head.
The Watcher?
Yeah.
Who?
Remember Little Bill?
No, Devin.
Is he canceled? Is Little Bill canceled too?
Oh, a Little Bill. You know, it does look like an old version of Little Bill. Yeah.
That's because he's got the baldness.
I mean, Little Bill is
he's
Bill
a tiny
Cosby.
little guy.
Well, Little Bill is the Bill Cosby. So are you saying the Watcher is Bill Cosby?
Unfortunately. But he's a little bald guy. He's got the look.
Yeah, he definitely does. Definitely does. For my initial reactions, I really enjoyed this episode. The other two episodes that I would compare this to would be, I believe it was the Doctor Strange episode. The two episodes we actually never got to cover on the podcast due to scheduling conflicts and me being out of town.
Zombies. Is what we didn't get to.
Yeah, we didn't get to. Oh, that's right. You know what? We did get to the Doctor Strange one, but the audio was so bad we had to just cut it. Yeah. That's right. So Zombies is what we didn't get to. Technically, both of them, but yeah. Technically and not technically, but yeah, Zombies is the one we didn't get to, but this one really reminded me a lot of Zombies. And coming off of last week's episode, with the whole Thor thing, it was nice to have a little bit of a breather. But so far, these episodes have been very more on the serious side, as I mentioned before. But for this episode, it really just, there's a lot of shocking moments here, and we see Natasha and Hawkeye back at it again. We'll get into that a little bit more when the spoilers hit, but they're doing their thing. They're trying to save the world. And, as always, they have great dynamic. But I will say the cinematography, or just like the way that this episode was shot was just like very breathtaking. Like, I think they really pushed the limits of whatever software that they're using, for these CGI, for the animation. They really pushed the limits. Like, you can kind of see it in last week's episode with if Thor was an only child, but this week they really just went for it, much so with the Doctor Strange episode as well. But this one was just really just wow. Like, it was so aesthetically pleasing that I was like, I can get on board with this. Like, honestly,
it feels like animation's been getting better as the season's gone on.
Yeah, it really has. Because it did, I will say, during the beginning, it felt more so stiff, but I wasn't sure if it's that we weren't used to this like cell shaded type of 3D animation at first. But now I'm curious. I want to go back and to see, how I feel about it. Because at first it did feel a bit stiff, but it does. This animation style definitely is growing on me, and I really like how they took this route. There aren't a lot of shows out there when it comes, to animation, this type of animation. But I will say, when as much as we love, the live action, superhero shows and movies and stuff, but animation is where superhero, like the superhero genre shines. It really just does, because that's. Coming off of comics, and like, the next natural step would be, hey, let's make TV shows out of this. But it really does shine here. And it was a crazy, a lot of, like you said, breaking the fourth wall. Talk about breaking the fourth wall. But yeah, those are pretty much my initial reactions. Did you have anything else you wanted to add before?
Ultron had the Watcher poop in his pants a little bit.
Dude,
poop in his little Bill diaper.
He literally had him in his pants. He said, "Holy."
when he was staring at him through his little universe its window thing, he was like, "Oh, you can see me." Oh,
Tony
no.
like created a monster, but yeah, and of course he had help from another certain Mad Titan out there, but I feel like we're getting too more into the spoiler section here.
Yeah, it's time.
So I think it is time for us to go over to our spoiler section of episode 8, which is again titled "What If Ultron Won?" So that is your first spoiler warning here on the show for What If episode 8. Again, that is your second spoiler warning. Again, just if you haven't seen it, please do. The runtime is around 28 minutes. You know, we have some great casting here, of course. You know, Jeremy Renner came back to play as a Hawkeye. We have Benedict Cumberbatch, and of course, the man who's been, you know, ushering us through this entire journey, Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. So, Devin, I gotta say, Thanos got cut up like a knife. Just
He got sliced. Why didn't Vision do that if it's that easy?
I don't exactly. I wonder because he sliced him in half with the Mind Stone, and that was
I
it.
think that's all you need is the Mind Stone, apparently.
I guess so, because that was very just cut and dry. But I love how, you know, since we now are into spoilers, how Thanos enters. It was literally the same way as if he entered in was it Infinity War. And then just like, oh, you know, we're just gonna.
And then Ultron's just like, interesting.
Yeah. And he's like, ooh, what are these? And maybe the Mind Stone was speaking to him like, hey, you know, this is a collection of sorts. But that would have been really interesting to see them actually battle it out. That's one thing I wish we would have gotten. Just like,
Well, what's Vision's stance on killing other sentient beings?
I do not.
Maybe that's why.
I don't know. Because
he pretty much has only killed like robots and stuff.
Yeah, that is very true. Because I'm not sure where his stance is, or if he has like a code when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, Thanos, his second appearance. This is Tony Stark's like what, 4th or 5th death within Marvel's What If, because you know we see Ultron, you know, expanding, just literally taking over the world. You know, this post-apocalyptic world that, you know, I feel like a lot of people would have seen more during the end game, the blip, the snap, however you want to say it, during that phase, because that was really, really interesting. And, you know, it really focuses on Natasha and Hawkeye, or Black Widow, I should say, I guess, to make it a little bit easier for people. But, you know, their dynamic there is always great. And, you know, we see them, you know, trying to save the world again. Which is very, very interesting.
We get our boy Zola back.
And we get Zola. Yeah, we get Zola back, and we see the Watcher, you know, kind of going through his own, you know, just his own code. He's like, do I interfere? Because he sees how strong Vision is after he kills Thanos. And he's like, oh crap, you know, it was crazy. It was like kind of like literally like a sixth sense as to, he's like, you know, who said that? You know, Ultron's trying to figure out who's, you know, narrating, and I guess certain beings can hear him and certain beings can't, because he only
Strange Supreme heard him earlier.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that. So it is interesting, but give me your spoiler free. You're not spoiler free thoughts, but your spoiler talks. Like, do you think this is like the best episode?
Well, I don't think anybody expected them to have a team assembly like series or movie this soon into the newest phase.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're here, we're assembling a team, take down the big bad, just like good old times.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be a brawl.
Yeah.
Got Strange Supreme and the Watcher on as the captains for one team. They'll get Party Thor. They've got Nat. They'll get some Guardians from the Galaxy. They might not have Peter Quill. Because he still has to deal with his dad.
Yeah, I think I think this
They will get Star-Lord T'Challa though.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think we will get the T'Challa Star-Lord. I'm hoping that we do, and maybe even.
And it was a theory that that Thanos. I mean, I guess it still could be true that the zombie Thanos is going to be like a third team that they have to worry about.
Really?
It could be like Ultron, versus the good guys versus the zombies.
This is going to be amazing. I wonder how long the season finale is going to be, because
I feel like it's got to be longer.
at least like 40, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for this episode, for as short as it was, like running 28 minutes, like it covered so much. And, you know, we see Captain Marvel, you know, battling it out with Vision prior. She tried. Yeah. Prior, I think.
But she's only got one Infinity Stone.
Yeah. So it was, she was battling him. Was it prior to him getting the 6 stones, or was it?
It was after.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
it was when he was destroying planets and stuff.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And she comes swooping in. I was like, oh, Captain Marvel coming in to save the day. I really like how we are getting more with her character, because I feel like we just haven't gotten it enough. But within What If, I definitely feel like it's,
that fight between Ultron and the Watcher was so cool.
That was
like
amazing.
Every punch is a different dimension.
It's crazy and actually scary to think, hey, this is how, you know, Ultra, just how dangerous and powerful, and how, like, with Ultron, how he can actually be. And it's like, oh crap, you know, like Tony Stark, like literally he created a monster. This dude created like a demon, essentially, and just kind of, man, oh man, it's so crazy to think about. I mean, of course, you know, to see Tony Stark die again, I'm like, how many times do we got to go through this? How many times? This is at least his 4th time dying in this series, I swear. So it's like, we get it, you know.
Him and Vision.
Him and Vision. It's like, ugh, it's too much. But yeah, you know, we get the ultimate brawl of fighting with the Watcher.
I love when the Watcher suited up.
Oh, he said, you have no idea what I'm capable of. It was like 2 gods.
You can't even compute what I'm capable of.
Yeah, literally the battle of like these sentient beings, these sentient gods, however you want to take it. But it is shaping up to be a very like spicy finale for sure. I'm just
can't wait, because if it's like 3 factions going against each other, even 2 is amazing. But then if they throw in the Thanos zombie,
yeah,
because he's got all the Infinity Stones, so he can, apparently you can traverse dimensions if you have all of them. That's a rule that they're kind of establishing, at least within the What If universe.
So do you think with episode 8, do you think this is going to tie into No Way Home because of the ending where the Watcher does have to retreat back to another dimension, and you know, the evil Doctor Strange is still there, and it seems that Ultron has taken over the multiverse. So is this another multiverse-esque effect that's gonna happen?
See, it's weird, because I think we all agree that the Doctor Strange in No Way Home is not the real Doctor Strange. But I just find it hard to believe that they would make it the Doctor Strange from What If.
What?
I feel like
really
this might be the least watched show of them all. And if they expect the general audience to know Strange Supreme.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, didn't Kevin Feige say that you had to watch the series in order, like, for, you know, for the movie tie-ins, or did they backtrack on that?
I don't remember.
I want to say that they said yes, you know, like you have to watch the series in order to know what's going on in the movies, which makes sense because it's like, I mean, all this is connected anyway. But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that they did backtrack on that, but it doesn't seem like that at all, because this is all like, this is canon. Like this happens, you know, after, you know, Sylvie kills King the Conqueror, and, you know, we don't know how many events, you know, take place at the same time, but, you know, it's multiverse. Everything is canon now. Like anything is possible is what they say in the show. And it's like, it's true. Like this is a multiverse. And it's like, you can see it, like you can view it one of 2 ways. The first way is like the super easy, cheap way. Oh, you know, they're just, you know, copping out and saying, oh, well, you know, if someone else, you know, pops up, like, I don't know, like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and you know, in No Way Home, they'd be like, oh, it's all multiverse stuff, so it's fine. It's like I don't think they've written themselves into a corner, but there is a lot of possibilities, and they can kind of pick and choose what they want to become a part of this universe. But I don't know. I think you are right about the What If series. Do we know what the numbers are pulling so far?
I have no idea.
I don't think they've released anything yet because they were so.
I just feel like it being animated just automatically cuts off a certain part of the general audience.
Yeah, which really, it kind of sucks because like people will go see an animated movie if it's Disney, if it's Pixar, like they'll go see a good animated movie, but animated show, I'm not even sure how well Invincible did because it was animated. It's some kind of bad, well, not bad juju, but there's some type of not even omen or just there's something about like animation that turns a lot of people off, which kind of sucks. But I think that's more of like the American cartoon mentality that like, like cartoons are for kids, growing up, like you would watch all these great shows like Hey Arnold, Rugrats, Courage the Cowardly Dog, et cetera, et cetera. But like, as you get older, you don't watch those anymore. And it's like, or Spider-Man or, Batman the animated series or Superman the animated series. I think that there's some kind of stigma. That's the word I'm looking for. It's some kind of stigma with like cartoon show or like animation where it's like, hey, well, animation's supposed to be for kids. It's like, well, we've seen definitely throughout the decades that that's not true. Even with like Animaniacs, like the reboot, like there's a lot of adult themes in there, Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, things of that nature. But yeah, it kind of does blow. I'm very curious to figure out what the numbers are pulling in for What If so far, because Marvel is so quick to be like, yeah, like for WandaVision, it's the most watched show. They did it for Loki. They did it for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm assuming they're going to do it for Hawkeye because that's their last series of the year. But we still have a few more series to go. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like the year's over, but we're not quite there. But yeah, rant over, I guess. But was there anything else you wanted to bring up about this episode that has you excited for episode 9? Like,
I really like that the fate of this universe comes down to like the two quote unquote like weakest Avengers there are, Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Definitely.
Like it comes down to these two humans to save the entire universe.
It comes down to Batman and Robin. Oh, make no mistake, Batman and Robin are going to get it done. Natasha and Hawkeye.
The dude using arrows and the chick using guns.
There we go. There we go.
I always do love the Hawkeye scenes though, because I love the array of arrows that he has. Like he's got like that bubble shield one.
Yeah.
He's obviously got the huge explosive ones.
He's got.
I just love how he just picks and chooses the very specific ones for those needs.
And I don't know where this, like, I guess you could say he is like the least liked Avenger, but like I think Hawkeye's pretty cool. Like
he was really good in the first Avenger movie.
Yeah, like he's not just a dude who shoots arrows. It's like, okay, like you could say the same thing with Green Arrow and Red Arrow, things like that. But it's like, no, they have other skills. It's like, honestly, dude, you need an archer on your team, no matter what you're doing. But yeah, I don't know where this whole like I've seen so many people on Twitter. Oh, like Hawkeye's like the least interesting Avenger. He doesn't really do anything. It's like just because he doesn't turn into a big green monster or has super strength or super speed or whatever doesn't make him less interesting. Honestly, he's the only character we've gotten when it comes to like a family backstory in a way. Like, to be completely honest, like we've seen the wife, we've seen the kids, we've seen all that. Like we kind of get that.
He's married to Velma.
Yeah, he's married to Velma. Like it sounds like a pretty sweet life to me. But yeah. So what were your thoughts on like as we wrap up here, I guess. So in Endgame, we see Natasha die. They flipped the script on this one, and Hawkeye dies. Did you feel anything, Devin? I'm curious to know your thoughts.
I guess the only feeling I had was just how cool the scene looked.
Mm-hmm.
Just the slow-mo explosion was really good.
He went out better than Natasha, I will say. I think so. Absolutely. Like that boy was on it. But I really love how, you know, when they're trying to find Zola and, you know, the Watcher's trying to, you know, nudge him in the right direction, but he hasn't broken his vows yet. But then you see this broken Hawkeye where he's like, you know, he's like, I'm not frustrated. He's like, I'm just tired. He's like, I just want it all to be over. He's like, you know, Ultron won and that's it. He's like, there's nothing else. He's like, we're like the last two humans on Earth, supposedly, you know, trying to take down this big bad. And, you know, when they reach Zola, you know, they kind of do their their whole little thing. I like how they tapped Zola in. That was really, really awesome. That was really, really sweet. But yeah, we see you know, Jeremey Hawkeye dies, sacrifices himself, and it's just Natasha now. So I guess people got what they wanted. Congratulations. But you know, Natasha's still dead in the main timeline. I don't know. It's crazy stuff. I mean, because I always wondered how it would feel if Hawkeye had died during Endgame, and I feel I wouldn't have had that. Like, I would not have had as much of a reaction as I did with Natasha, because it's like by that time in the entire series, like I get, yeah, you can argue that he is like quote unquote the least interesting, but I still like him as a character. But I would not have. I mean, I would have felt bad, but not like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe they just did that. Like, you know, they sealed the deal. Like Natasha's out of the MCU, but
I definitely would have felt bad if they played up the family dynamic if he ended up dying.
Yeah, because
it was sad at the opening of Endgame when you see his kids get dusted.
Yeah, and you know what? I think if they would have spent a little bit more time with, if we would have spent a little bit more time with Hawkeye prior to that, then I think they could have went either way. Like, okay, you know, who's going to kick the bucket? But yeah, like we see his family, but the entire scene opens up with Hawkeye. Like we know he has one, but we didn't really see him as his time as Ronin, which I kind of wish we would have. That would have been really interesting, but apparently we're going to see the repercussions of those in the Hawkeye series. So that's going to be really, really interesting. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, you know, what if episode 8, it's very, I honestly think this might be the best one in the series. I don't know, man. Zombies is really awesome. Doctor Strange is really cool.
I'm willing to make a bet next week will be the best.
The best?
Just because of all the setup they've had.
The best. So do you think it's gotten better with each episode so far?
Not like
not like Midnight Mass.
Yeah, and it hasn't gone up every episode.
Yeah,
because I think definitely the Killmonger one was a step down.
People do not like that one. I liked it.
That's definitely my least favorite. And then the Thor one wasn't as good as the others, but I still liked it.
Yeah, the Thor one was not that good. I would say that for me, so I still think the Hank Pym one is like the weakest one. I just did not care too much for that one. I mean, it was interesting to see like the mystery, but I guess the payoff, I was like, okay, that's not bad. But I think that I love the Killmonger episode. Like Killmonger got his way. He was playing everybody like a fiddle. And we got one of the best scenes with him and T'Challa. And even during like the quote unquote war of Wakanda, when they're screaming out T'Challa's name, I was like, I don't think it's not my favorite, but I did like that episode for sure. But
they disrespected my Wakandan people.
My people. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that like pretty much covers up our initial thoughts, our thoughts and opinions about episode 8 of What If, which is again titled What If Ultron Won. So let's get into our did you have any like solid predictions really quick before we get into our ratings? Like any solid predictions of what might happen next episode?
I'm going to stick with my guns and go with the 3-faction idea, because we know the zombies are coming back, because there's a clip of Thor saying, "Oh, zombies, that's a good idea." So it's going to be It's going to be the good guys versus Ultron versus zombie Thanos.
I think that's good. I think that's a good one too. For me, I can't say that I have a I guess an original prediction on my front. I've just been really enjoying this, for the episode that for the show that it is, What If Wednesdays. I gotta say I really like the Wednesday slots more than Fridays. I really just do. I mean, it helps out so many people when it comes to covering the show and just in future shows to come. I think it's a good idea, and a nice little pick me up throughout the week is what we all need. And usually, by the work week, a lot of people kind of hit a wall by Wednesday, but hey, it is Wednesday at the same time, so it's like they kind of chug along till Thursday. But I think Wednesday, Thursday, those are like the perfect days for like dropping TV episodes. And of course, I mean, Sunday nights. So those like my top 3 days, I think. I mean, hey, if Disney wanted to make it more into an event, like, HBO is done with Game of Thrones and many other series before. Like Sundays used to be Game of Thrones night. That was the day that everyone sat home and watched that episode and talked about it the next day until the next week. But yeah, no real predictions from me. I guess I'll just steal Devin's prediction and see where
sounds fun.
See where that takes us. But let's get into our ratings here so we can wrap up and get out of here and enjoy the rest of our Wednesday. So Devin, what would you rate What If episode 8?
I'll go with a solid A, like a 90, 93.
Oh, okay.
A couple points taken off for my boy. My boy Robert California being offed.
Can we talk about that really quick? Why did you hate the voice so?
He just did not sound right.
Okay,
Can't pull off James Spader.
Listeners,
do a James Spader impression right now. It's impossible.
I can't. I can do a Bane impression.
Do Robert California right now.
Hello, the world be metal. I am Bane. Yeah, I can't do it. He does have a very distinct voice. I will give you that. But I don't think this new voice actor was bad. It was different, I'll give you that, but it wasn't bad because this is Ultron. Like, it would have been cool if they got James
whiny James Spader.
It's like, where are the drugs going? Where are the drugs going?
Basically.
Well, listeners out there, let us know if you if you liked the stand-in voice actor for Ultron for What If episode 8. Well, who was that, by the way? Do you know?
Ross Marquand.
He
was in The Walking Dead for a while.
Did you watch that show?
I stopped after they got out of hand.
I can honestly say I've never seen a single episode of Walking Dead, and I don't plan on if it would have stopped when it should have stopped, I would have watched it. But I think they're on their final season. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So Devin's gonna give it 93, 94. I'm honestly I'm in that camp as well. I'm probably gonna give this one just like a solid 95. I was trying to figure out if I had really any real issue. I guess the one issue I had would have been that I felt like it was a little too short, but they did pack in a lot of stuff. Like, I feel like we got a lot of good information from this. Between this and the zombies episode, I keep going back and forth, but I think this one definitely tops everything that we've seen so far. Just because
it's just bringing everything together.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the penultimate episode, and like once you have a really good penultimate episode, it's like, even with Loki, like the penultimate episode and the series finale were just crazy. Like, it paid off so much stuff. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our episode here of What If episode 8. Again, let us know your thoughts. Leave us a rating and review if you guys enjoy the episode, or just follow us on Instagram and Twitter over at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. But Devin, Devin, as we know, what's coming up here on the podcast, what's coming up here on the show, Devin, we got a lot. We have a lot. We have not been this busy since March. we were covering 2 shows and movies at the same time throughout the entire month. And I believe there's 31 days in March as well. Is there not?
Yeah.
Blanking. Yeah. So it's March 2.0, baby. Oh my gosh. We got so much coming up for everyone out there listening. So we have our Venom Let There Be Carnage review that's going to be dropping on October 4th. And we're also going to be dropping our Many Saints of Newark review on October 4th for you guys as well. So you get a nice little double feature review from us. How exciting is that? A double feature review. 2 separate episodes for those who, want to pick and choose what they want to listen to. We don't want to, mesh everything up to together. Like, would it be convenient? Yes, but we love our listeners out there so much. So we're going to keep it going that way through October. Pretty much 2 movies a week we're going to be covering, minus No Time to Die. I think that's next week. That's the only movie that's out. Well, the one that we're going to be covering, at least. To be determined. We'll see. But as of right now, it's the only movie. But other than that, two movies a week. We're going to be getting 2 movies per week from us here on the podcast. And on top of that, Devin, this year is the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So this is more of a side project, a passion project that I've been working on. We're going to be covering each movie per week, starting on October 10th, the week of October 10th. We're going to be covering each movie per week. Of course, when it comes to Deathly Hallows, we will be separating those for part 1 and part 2, because if not, that would be so long. But so it's pretty much it's the 20 years of magic is what Warner Brothers is touting it, and I think they have a new Harry Sorcerer's Stone 4K Blu-ray individual pack set out there. It's the 4K sets have been out there for a while, but I think it's just a sort, because this year it's technically just the 20th anniversary of the Sorcerer's Stone, but it's we're going to be celebrating all things Harry Potter here on the podcast. So pretty much starting the week of October 10th going through, we're going to be doing, like I said, each movie per week. We got some people lined up for that, so that's going to be a lot of fun, definitely. So on top of, getting 2 movies per week from us, from me and Devin, we're also going to be bringing on other people to celebrate all things Harry Potter, because it is one of my favorite franchises, my biggest comfort movies. I would probably say if there was a comfort movie, it would probably be one of the Harry Potters in the franchise. But just want to let you guys know that it's going to be a very busy month, but it's all worth it, because it's for you wonderful listeners and fans out there who tune into the podcast every week. Everyone who supports us on Twitter, we just want to say thank you very much. And your support has not gone unnoticed. So this is kind of like my gift to you guys for that. So yeah, we have, like I said before, Venom and Venom 2 and Many Saints of Newark going to be dropping on October 4th, on Monday, October 4th. And then our What If season finale is going to be dropping on October 6th. So we'll be putting that puppy to bed for a while. And then it seems that Disney's taking a break in October. I don't think October is really much of their strong suit, but they do have that Lego Star Wars like Halloween movie that's coming out, I think, on the 1st. But that pretty much concludes everything here on the podcast today. So with all of that said, I'm long-winded and out of breath. We're going to close out here, and you guys have a rest. Well, have a good rest to your week. Yeah. Anyway, see ya. And that's the wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and follow us on Twitter so you guys can always stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.